welcome to CCN GameCast. I am the tall man that runs the channel here on CCN Gaming. My name is Jared, aka Cornfed Cracker 93, and I am your host here today for this podcast, and boy, don't we have a lot to talk about. So as always, I want to let you guys know if you want to get involved with the action, ask me questions, talk to me on social media, use the go to Twitter at CCN Gaming and Music, and you can always contact me there on the Twitter page. So we have a lot to talk about on this podcast, and I want to jump right into the action. First of all, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today. It's been a while since we've actually done a podcast, but I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys about some of the stuff that's been going on in real-life WWE and on the YouTube channel. I know that I posted a thing on Twitter a while ago saying that I had changed my mind regarding our universe mode, and we will get to that a little bit later on in this podcast. So the first topic of the podcast I wanted to talk about today was Wrestlemania. As we all know, Wrestlemania had just happened this past Sunday. You guys are watching this on a Wednesday, I believe. And so there's a few things I wanted to talk about. First, we'll discuss the matches, and then I'll talk about the show overall. I want to start with the women's and men's battle royal. Obviously, the Andre the Giant battle royal, and what was the Fabulous Moolah battle royal at one point, I believe, for WrestleMania. They removed Fabulous Moolah's name from the battle royal. Now, there was a couple of speculations as to why that was done, with Fabulous Moolah not having the best of histories when it comes to, what do you want to call it? Not having the best of histories, really. I mean, I don't know how to put it any other way than that. Possible selling, I don't want to get into it because I don't want to make this about that situation, but watching a few people talk about it and everything, I think that's why WWE decided to remove her from the beginning of that battle royal. They just made it the women's battle royal and called it that. As far as the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so the battle royal idea at WrestleMania, I think, as much as, it's great that they're doing it in remembrance of Andre the Giant, I'm not sure it's something that should be. Why don't you just name the Royal Rumble the Andre the Giant Royal Rumble or Memorial Royal Rumble or whatever you wanted to do, the Andre Rumble or something like that. Just making the Battle Royal at WrestleMania after we've just had the Royal Rumble seems kind of, I don't know, lackluster to me. The Battle Royal doesn't hold any perks per se. And however, with that being said, I want to say that, Matt Hardy winning that with the assist from Bray Wyatt kind of brought it more to the forefront and made that Battle Royal more relevant. I just don't think a Battle Royal for men or women at WrestleMania is necessary. I once saw it, especially last year when Mojo Rawley won it, as a kind of boost for the person's career. Kind of give them a little bit of a, I guess, the push. I don't know. Did Mojo Rawley win it last year? Memory's getting all messed up here. It might have been Baron Corbin last year and Mojo Rawley the year previous. But anyway, with that being said, I feel like Matt Hardy winning it made that more relevant. And I felt like the Battle Royal used to give kind of like a push to some of these mid-carders, maybe boost them into the main event scene. However, like we've seen with Mojo Rawley and with Baron Corbin, that didn't really happen. So I'm not sure that the Battle Royal at WrestleMania is really necessary. I feel like we could use that time for something better, I guess I would say. So the next match I had here to talk about was Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. So I didn't think the match was bad, but I didn't feel like the match had reached its full potential. I feel like these guys are much more capable of doing so much more in that ring, and the match could have been even 10 times better than what it was. So, as much as I liked the match, I didn't feel like it met its full potential. I feel like they still had room left to go. They still had more gas in the tank to compete like that. But it was a kickoff match, so I understand why it didn't get stretched out. But these cruiserweights are phenomenal athletes, and I feel like we should be showcasing them a little bit more. Obviously, we don't want to make it the cruiserweight show, but it would be nice to actually see some more action to make the cruiserweights a little bit more relevant in WWE altogether. Braun Strowman versus The Bar for the Raw Tag Team Championships, where he could pick an opponent of his choosing, and he picked somebody from the crowd. And if you guys haven't seen the Raw after Mania last night, I'm recording this on a Tuesday, they relinquished the titles anyway. I understand they wanted to make Strowman look big. They wanted to make a Wrestlemania moment for a fan in the audience, which is awesome. And overall, the match was kind of, I don't know how to say it. Obviously, all the matches in WWE are rigged to the point where we know who's going to win or lose, but this one definitely looked more so rigged. Just because it was supposed to. It was supposed to look like a squash match pretty much at WrestleMania. Even though it stretched out longer than I thought it would. I thought that it was a really cool thing to do. Get a fan involved. Not really much of a storyline behind it anymore as the titles were relinquished. But that means we're going to get new Raw Tag Team Champions. So, I guess next week on Raw during the Superstar Shakeup, we're going to have a number one contenders match as Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt take on, I believe it was the Revival. Yeah, I think so. It was the Revival, I think. It's hard to keep my thoughts straight here. But so, new Raw Tag Team Champions coming in the future. So, I thought that Braun Strowman and his partner of his choosing, the fan in the crowd, was a pretty cool taste there by WWE. Randy Orton's match as United States Champion taking on Jinder Mahal, Rusev, and Bobby Roode. I thought the match was okay. I thought it felt like kind of like a filler match. Orton loses the championship to Jinder Mahal being the new United States Champion. I think it can make for an interesting story. Everybody loves to hate Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal grew on me. I actually don't hate his character. I thought they kind of pushed him like a Roman Reigns in the beginning, and they backed off of it a little bit. He grew into the character that they wanted him to be, and I feel like people respect the acting ability of Jinder Mahal, and obviously his athleticism is, excellent. He's in great shape. He fits that role, and I think that he's going to make an awesome United States champion as far as storylines go. Bliss versus Nia Jax. So I thought this match with Alexa Bliss coming out with a championship, the Goddess versus the Irresistible Force, was kind of meh. I thought that it was kind of, okay, not great. I didn't think the match itself was horribly bad. I'm glad that Nia Jax has the championship. I feel like they kind of last minute threw her into this match without much of a build for a storyline, and I thought that Nia Jax deserved a little bit more story. And I could be wrong, but I feel like Nia Jax will not hold the championship for very long. I feel like she's going to have a fairly quick reign, and that scares me because I feel like that quick reign will destroy her career. I feel like Nia Jax is going to be one of these people that are going to hold this championship, and because the way that they're booking her, she will lose the championship very quick, and she will be, next thing you see, best of luck in your future endeavors, Nia Jax, you're going to TNA. So I don't really know what I thought the match was, great. I think she deserves the championships. By me saying that, I don't think that Nia Jax is a bad competitor at all. I just feel like the booking wasn't there for this matchup. They never really built up Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax to be best friends of sorts. Kind of, but not really. And what they did kind of felt like it was so quick and so forced that the match was kind of just a match at WrestleMania. I don't feel like the Raw Women's Championship is very relevant right now because of it. However, I do feel that Alexa Bliss is an awesome heel, and I feel like she needs to continue being a heel, and I think it won't be long before Alexa Bliss has the championship back. Could be wrong, but I would be very surprised. However, we have the addition of Ember Moon after, Raw after Mania has made her arrival, so that could put a monkey wrench in the whole thing. I just don't think a face Nia Jax is going to get over, and I don't see her as a face holding that Raw Women's Championship very long. The booking's just not there, in my opinion. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Usos walking in as champions, taking on the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, I don't know. I really don't know where to begin with this matchup. And the matchup wasn't bad itself, but once again, the booking of the matchup makes it almost not worth talking about as far as I'm concerned. I think that Luke Harper has some awesome in-ring abilities. Eric Rowan, not so much, I don't think. And that's just my opinion. I feel like the Bludgeon Brothers shouldn't have gone over. It's fine if you want to put them in the match at WrestleMania. I don't feel that the New Day should have won it. I think the Usos probably should have walked out with the championships again. The New Day and the Usos have such an awesome in-ring ability against each other that the Bludgeon Brothers in there kind of just made the match more lackluster than what it should. I felt if the Usos and the New Day battled it out on the grandest stage, like they did on SmackDown's other pay-per-views, the match would have been phenomenal. But once again, they threw the Bludgeon Brothers in there, kind of messed up the whole base of the matchup, I felt, and kind of ruined that matchup for me. The Miz versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. As you haven't noticed, I haven't been talking about these in order. But I thought this matchup tore the house down and quite possibly is probably the best matchup on the night when it comes to WrestleMania. These guys, with the exception of Miz, the Miz is a great heel. The Miz is great on the mic. His in-ring abilities are okay, subpar, but he sells everybody else's moves perfectly. So I thought these guys got into a rhythm on WrestleMania and could not be stopped. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and The Miz, I thought, completely tore the house down. They got into that, and I want to talk about this a little bit. On most of these matches, I expected these people to get into a rhythm and go back and forth and see these awesome reversals and moves and everything in these matches and get into that smooth wrestling rhythm where everybody is in sync. And I don't think hardly any of the matches got to it except for this match and one other, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I thought these guys were right on point, and the Raw after Mania was the same way. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. But I thought the match was absolutely phenomenal. Seth Rollins going over for the Intercontinental Championship. Not sure how I feel about that, but I think Seth Rollins is an awesome athlete, and I think if they book him right, he can do anything. Daniel Bryan's return, teaming with Shane McMahon to take on Cammy at WrestleMania. I gotta say right now, it was awesome to see Daniel Bryan back in the ring. It was awesome to see Daniel Bryan do what Daniel Bryan does. That part of it I thought was awesome. I thought the match wasn't that super great match that we wanted, but obviously you can't go wrong with Daniel Bryan's WrestleMania return. However, I do have to mention here, I found myself cringing every time the man hit the mat. Don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody to hate me for saying this. I love Daniel Bryan. So glad that he's back. I'm just so scared that the guy's going to get hurt. I'm so scared that he's going to have one slip up and it's all going to be taken away again. not due to he's obviously phenomenal in the ring, but injuries happen. And I guess you shouldn't be living your life scared of that happening. But when Daniel Bryan was removed from, competing before, thought that he would never return, and now he's back, it's just like, take it easy. I don't want to lose him again. So I found myself cringing at every move, and Bryan was emotional as he was making his way out to the ring at WrestleMania, and it almost made me emotional. Like, to see a guy get to live his dream again and to compete for the first time at WrestleMania once again, where he made history years before. Man, you just can't beat that feeling in the match. I didn't think the match was really that great. I'd have to give Miz and Seth and Balor the match as far as the actual match filler stuff. I'd have to give that to them. But, you can't beat Daniel Bryan's return to WrestleMania. Shane took a hell of a beating. I think he's a phenomenal athlete too for his age and to be able to compete like he does. I think Shane McMahon is pretty cool in that ring just the same. Charlotte and Asuka for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Now, I thought these guys had an awesome matchup. I thought these guys, now this is where I want to talk about this, getting into that rhythm there. These guys, I felt like hit that spot on. These guys were in a rhythm with each other. They made the match great. They just did. And it's shocking finish. I thought Asuka was going to win. At the same time, Asuka's got an undefeated streak, and I know that WWE wanted to make that for the story, but I had a feeling they wanted to shut down that undefeated streak as soon as possible. Asuka, phenomenal athlete. She will be a women's champion at some point. Wouldn't be surprised if she gets another chance at the title here right off, if she actually walks out this time with the championship. Charlotte, I love Charlotte as a woman in the WWE. She's a phenomenal athlete. She's a phenomenal character, and she deserved to get that win at WrestleMania and to make history for herself. She's had a rough shot of it, in the past year with her dad getting sick and stuff like that, and to be able to come out there most every night and compete at the level that she does, especially at WrestleMania. And I gotta say, I was a little bit reserved going into WrestleMania with Charlotte taking on Asuka. I wasn't sure that Charlotte was going to be able to compete at the height that Asuka was. But she completely blew my expectations away. She was phenomenal in that ring. And like I said, those guys were in a sync. They were synced right up, and they were in a smooth rhythm, and they made that match great. And I would have to say that's probably my second favorite match of the night, close with The Miz, Seth, and Balor. But shocking finish. I thought that the match, though, was kind of a little bit short for Charlotte and Asuka. Not extremely so. Like I said, I don't want it to take away from the match itself, but I thought that it was kind of short. I thought that it could have been stretched out a little bit. It kind of shocked me that Asuka tapped out to the first figure eight. I thought that it would stretch out a little bit further than that. But overall, I thought the match was really great. They booked it great. You can't get any better than that right there. And even though it surprised me what Charlotte was capable of, that match was awesome. Angle and Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Now, I got to start right now by saying Rousey did much better than I expected. She's one of these competitors, and Brock Lesnar's the same way. They spent more time in the UFC than they have in the WWE. Brock Lesnar's getting better since he's been back, but these guys scare me with some of the people that they fight because sometimes they get a little bit rough. I don't know if they don't sell it quite like a guy that's been in WWE for years. And Rousey, I saw that before WrestleMania, and I was actually kind of worried about her hurting Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie McMahon was too, by storyline sakes. And I'm talking about this stuff in kind of like a reality setting, not in the story kayfabe WWE. Rousey, I thought did better than I expected anyway. I didn't think she would be as smooth with her in-ring ability, and she wasn't really. She's kind of like a bull in a china shop a little bit, but I mean that's to be expected in her first match. So I thought Rousey did spectacular. You know, I want to see more from her. I hope that she keeps at it and keeps getting better in that ring. She can only have a backing on her name for so long before she's going to back it up big time with a championship. So I'm hoping that she gets a good run, hoping that she gets some good experience, smooths out her technique a little bit, and I think she'll fit in great. Now, I want to talk about this while we're right in this Angle Rousey thing. Angle's performance leaves me wanting to see more. I was kind of a little bit disappointed because I want to see Angle one-on-one at WrestleMania. I want to see Angle competing against somebody one-on-one at WrestleMania once again. He proved it out there at WrestleMania. He proved it that he can still hang with the big boys. He can still handle himself in that ring. And I hope that it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure that it will. I want to see Angle in that ring one-on-one with somebody that fits him, that they can get in that good sync that I've been talking about, in that good rhythm, and really steal the show. I'm really excited to see what Angle does in the future. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. A lot of people are talking about this match. A lot of people are talking about it. They're talking about how AJ Styles and Nakamura should have knocked it out of the park, and the match, I'm sorry, there's no other way to put this, but it was a letdown. You know, they had probably the best booking of the entire night, and the match was lackluster at best. You know, I expected to see this one go back and forth, Wrestle Kingdom style. And I don't think that it's AJ Styles and Nakamura's fault. Don't get me wrong. I think Nakamura's a little bit burnt out, and I think he's getting tired of the WWE handcuffs, per se. WWE, I think, is conserving this fight for a later time. However, I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. There was no better way than two faces going head-to-head, no big storyline, just let them fight. Let them take the handcuffs off. Let them take the gloves off and go at it. Let them showcase what they are here for, what people want them here for. Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles have all the makings to knock the roof off that dome. They really did. And what we did see in the match, I felt like was 10 minutes of Wrestle Kingdom. I thought that it was the first 10 minutes of Wrestle Kingdom. They finally got into a rhythm and the match is over. And I think everybody feels that same way. AJ Styles obviously retaining. The only thing that might have saved him is Nakamura turned heel. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with that. They might have some kind of it wouldn't be a Bullet Club per se, but they might have some kind of a storyline-esque like the Bullet Club, and that would be kind of neat. So I guess we're going to find out. I'm half expecting the Undisputed Future, Adam Cole, and now Roderick Strong, Fish and O'Reilly, stuff like that coming over to SmackDown Live and maybe joining Shinsuke Nakamura. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see on that. And we'll find out that tonight as I'm recording this. You guys have probably already seen it if you're watching this on Wednesday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Undertaker versus Cena. I don't know what to think about this. To tell you guys the truth, I am a huge Cena fan. I always have been from day one. I thought the match was quick, but then again, it was awesome to see Undertaker be Undertaker once again. No ill feelings there. You know, I'm an Undertaker and John Cena fan. I think Cena did a good job falling for the Undertaker. I think it was awesome. It was, you know, nostalgia trip all over. I don't know how many matches, full-length matches, Undertaker has in him, if any, anymore. I feel like he could compete there, but I don't know if he's interested in competing in full-out matches anymore. And I don't blame him. How many times are you going to step in that ring before you're really going to get hurt? And I don't want to see that of Undertaker. I want to see Undertaker strong like he was at WrestleMania. And that's the lasting image that I want to see of it. And I thought overall the kayfabe storyline there was pretty cool. That brings us to talking about the last match here that I have on my list. And that's Lesnar versus Reigns. I got to talk about this match. And, I want to like Reigns. I really do. I want to like Roman. He's an awesome athlete. But I think it's time for a heel turn. I think it's time that Roman Reigns finally turns bad. And I think if he turns bad instantly, he'd have more people backing him. Instantly. Joe's back after Raw, after Mania. Maybe this will help things. And I really think Roman Reigns needs to have a heel turn. I think he does. And I think they're ready to book Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Because it was a shocking ending when Brock Lesnar actually beat Roman Reigns. I thought after kicking out of 5 or 6 F5s in the match that for sure, if Roman Reigns hadn't succumbed to the pin already, he was going to win. And I think everybody thought the same thing. But Brock Lesnar picked up the win, and I think the Bobby Lashley-Lesnar thing is what they're looking for now. So now that we've discussed Mania, I really had to add in talking about the Raw after Mania. Because I have to tell you by saying this right now, and I might get crap for this on Twitter, on the comments, but I thought Raw after Mania took the cake. When you boil down Raw and WrestleMania, I think Raw after Mania was 10 times better than Mania was itself. I hope SmackDown Live kind of does the same idea, but I'm not sure. And I want to talk about some of the things that happened. Jeff Hardy made his return at the top of the show. And that's awesome. As a singles competitor, not to mention. And we'll talk about a little bit more of that later on. But yeah, Jeff Hardy is back from an injury. That's awesome. Authors of Pain showed up. I thought that was an awesome take. However, they have parted ways with Paul Ellering. I'm not sure why they bothered bringing him over and not, just leaving him and not including him in a story whatsoever. Maybe it's going to have some relevancy to it. I don't know. But I think Authors of Pain are going to be an awesome addition to Raw, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do there. Bobby Lashley is back in the WWE. So there was rumors of this before. I didn't know quite how to believe it. I see TNA is still posting stuff with Bobby Lashley, but I know that they are backlogged in recordings. So Bobby Lashley is going to be an awesome addition back to Raw. And I really think, like I stated before, that they're aiming for a Brock Lesnar-Bobby Lashley feud. And I think that would be awesome. But here's the thing. They need to make Bobby Lashley victorious against Brock Lesnar. They need to make it a good story, but they need to have it end with Bobby Lashley walking out as Universal Champion. Bobby Lashley is one of these competitors that is believable to overthrow Brock Lesnar. However, Bobby Lashley is also believable to have really good fights with anybody else on the roster. You've booked Brock Lesnar to be unstoppable for everybody. You need somebody that can come in and take the championship away from Brock Lesnar and get back in the main event scene that he can face off against any other competitor. Bobby Lashley has that for him. He has that going with him at this point. And WWE needs to capitalize on that. We need the Universal Championship back on Monday Night Raw on a nightly basis. And Bobby Lashley is the perfect one to dethrone the Beast and to carry that championship on Monday Night Raw every night. Ember Moon to the main roster. So, once again, I don't think face Nia Jax really works out, but she did bring Ember Moon, or WWE brought Ember Moon out, and Nia Jax introduced her. Ember Moon's going to be an awesome addition to Raw, and I think you're going to see her as Raw Women's Champion before too long. So I don't really have much to talk about on that. She was an awesome competitor. She's going to fit in right good with the women's division on Raw. So, with that, we'll move on to the next topic. Paige retiring. So we all kind of thought this was coming. We weren't sure why it was being delayed so long. Maybe some medical testing, I don't know. But Paige did retire, and you could tell, it's one of those Daniel Bryan moments. Whether you liked her or you hated her, she was phenomenal in that ring. She ignited the women's revolution in WWE. She really did. She changed so many things for the women in the WWE, that losing Paige is going to be a big blow to us. The WWE will survive, but it does stink to lose Paige, and I wonder if she'll be around as a different figure. Maybe a women's announcer, maybe maybe something backstage. I don't know, or maybe she's just done. Maybe she just wants to step away. I know that last time I heard she was with Alberto Del Rio, so she might just go and, tour with him, doing what he does on Impact. Who knows? But, really upsetting to see Paige retire and no longer be able to compete. No Way Jose makes his big entrance to the main roster as well. It's actually shocking because we have Ember Moon, we have No Way Jose, and we have the Authors of Pain that moved up, kind of leaving the NXT division a little bit barren a little bit. They do have other people there, but it's like these are big blows to NXT. They're going to have to fill these in with some great people, and they've done it once before. They brought Bayley, they brought Sasha, they brought Charlotte, and that's only the women here. They brought, Shinsuke, they brought Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, and they've had people fill those places. And I think, NXT has done so well to lose so many faces and be able to build new ones so quickly to get people enthralled back into NXT. And I think they've done an awesome job, and I'm not worried for that one bit. The main event of Raw after Mania, Rollins, Jeff Hardy, and Finn Balor, I thought tore the house down once again. I don't care what you say. These guys are awesome in that ring. They literally blew the roof off Raw after Mania. And here's the thing. Watching some of Raw after Mania, and things were huge, like right off the bat, and they kept getting bigger. And I was expecting something at the end to be super huge news. Like, I actually thought that we might see a CM Punk return by the end of Raw last night. And it didn't happen, of course. And I knew that. I knew that it probably wouldn't happen, but it felt like that kind of night. And I was expecting something really big. And even though we didn't get a shocking return, these guys really capped off the night so well. Jeff, Seth, and Balor tore the house down. We know Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas, and The Miz aren't that great in-ring competitors, but they sell these guys so well. These guys, once again, got into that rhythm in that ring and could not be stopped. So that does it for the WrestleMania and Raw after Mania talk. We got another topic here to talk about. So without further ado, let's get to that. Universe Mode Season 3 is not the end. And I think this is what most of you are tuning in for today. And I wanted to talk about this because I posted on Twitter a while back that Season 3 of Universe Mode would be the last season of the same storyline. Obviously, I was going to continue Universe Mode somehow, but Season 3 would be the last edition of this current storyline. However, I just posted a couple days ago that my mind had changed on that. And I wanted to talk a little bit in depth, and I'm not even sure what to talk to you about. What my thinking is that we're at Season 3 right now. And we're running in like 6 months increments, kind of. So SummerSlam is the end of one season. WrestleMania is the end of another. They're big enough shows that I feel like I can do it that way. Plus, the number of episodes that I do within that is quite a few, so I break them up into seasons like that. So I wanted to discuss this because I decided that I didn't want to end Universe Mode at Season 3. I've worked so hard to make the story what it is, and not to beat a broken drum here, but I'm not going to be able to change much even if I did stop this at season 3. So why stop it when I can continue on season 4? Now, I'm not saying that things won't change. I think things do have to change to some degree because I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to do, especially with a baby on the way. Right now, yesterday was Monday. It is officially could come anytime. So my ability to be able to record like I have been is going to be limited. So, and there's going to be coming up a 2-week break where I'm not going to be able to upload anything because I won't be where I can upload it. And after my wife has the baby. So I'll make sure I have a video ready, I guess, to post if that happens, just to let you guys know, and keep watching my Twitter for that as well. But I want to get back to the discussion about the universe mode. So when season 4 kicks off, I got to find a way to wrap up NXT OBS. That's kind of become a Chris Maverick story, so I think I'm going to hold true to that and kind of find a way to end that. And I think I want to incorporate NXT. All of these are just theories that I'm thinking about in my head. I want to incorporate NXT into the running universe mode. However, before you get too excited for that, I have to do something because I have a hard time sometimes keeping up with all the stuff that I'm doing right now. When I add something else, like another show, things might have to change. I'm thinking about doing it all open book from season 4 on. I think that might help with some of the process and the time-consuming aspect of it, but I'm not sure. It might happen that we consolidate the shows down to one instead of doing a Raw and SmackDown. However, I don't want to do that, really. I really don't. So we're going to have to figure it out, but I wanted to let you guys know at least that Universe Mode Season 3 will not be the end. Season 4 will return with continuing storylines, or stemming from the storylines of Season 3 into Season 4. And we're going to keep it rolling. I don't know what to do. Maybe we get rid of NXT altogether once again and not do that. And, in order to keep it running, that might be a sacrifice we have to take. Just to keep it down to 2 shows per week, plus the pay-per-views whenever they come in. And I want to continue doing the full-length pay-per-views. I think that's the smartest tactic with that. And so I think that's what we're going to do. And this is all a work in progress. If you guys have any suggestions for me, leave them down in the comments below on my YouTube page on this video if you want. Or you can always let me know on Twitter by, tweeting me if you want. So I think that's where we are with the universe mode, and I really wanted to have that conversation with you guys. This has been a much longer podcast than usual because we had so much to talk about today, and I wanted to end this by talking about the games that I've been playing. And so the game that I've been playing so much of, and I got to talk about this because last night, we were playing actually. This was Monday night, and I got on at like 12 midnight. I get out of work at 11:30, so I didn't get home until midnight. So I started playing with my friends on there, and we just were messing around pretty much. We got a seafarer's chest off of a shipwreck, and finally we see a raid tower show up. So we went over to check it out, found that there was a sloop there. A galleon showed up, 2 other sloops, and me and him are freaking slugging it out with everybody. We get killed. Our ship gets sunk. There was just too much going on. I couldn't keep up with the water flowing in. We got our ship sunk. We ended up charging back, getting supplies, getting powder keg barrels. We ended up phony teaming up with these guys. This is going to sound horrible. It's going to make me sound like a real pirate here. But we ended up teaming up with 2 other groups there, or one other group, and got onto the island. My buddy killed the captain. I stayed on the boat ready to pick him up. He comes to the boat, jumps on. We haul out of the fort, get to an island. He hides the key there. We then turn around. Nobody's paying attention where we're going here. We turn around. We head back to the fort. And we're talking to these guys, trying to pull up, being friendly. And we're like, who has the key? We don't have the key. And we see this sloop They never paid attention this whole time. The sloop was camping at the island for the entire time, not paying any attention to us. And we see the sloop over there, and I was like, wait, were these guys here? Did they have the key? Maybe they took it over there, and they're camping and waiting for us to leave here to come back and get the loot. Because you can hold on to that key and come open the door later. So we head over, and these innocent bystanders in the sloop, everybody sinks and kills. So we're looking for the key on the island. Finally, we were like, yeah, we got to go to bed. We're giving up. This is 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. Yeah, we're giving up. We're going to go to bed. We're going to cash in what we got. See you guys later. So they hung around for a few more minutes. We went back, cashed in what we did have, and then scuttled our ship to make it look like we had logged off. We logged back in, we spawned back in with our ship. We took all the sails and the hull color off of it, so we just looked like a plain Jane ship. Went back, nobody was around. We used the key. We collected the loot from the raid, and we took it and cashed it in. I got 24,000 gold now. We got 14 or 15 out of that raid. Lot of time-consuming stuff there, but it was really awesome how it worked out. Nobody suspected us of getting it whatsoever. We stole that key, hit it, and waited for everybody to leave and went back and got it after. So I love the game. A lot of people have some problems with it. I think the game is awesome. I think it does need to work out a few bugs, maybe add a few more cosmetics. But it's definitely a great game. If you guys are interested in getting it, you can get $10 for Xbox Game Pass. Pick that up. Either that or you can buy the game for $60 and join the fun. The other game that I've been playing is WWE 2K18, obviously, talking about Universe Mode just previous. And, a lot of stuff happening right now. And then Fortnite. I've been playing Fortnite a little bit, trying to get into that game. Not my favorite. Just the way the game plays. I'm a PUBG type guy, but PUBG is so broken on Xbox One right now that Fortnite's kind of the only option. So those are the kind of the top 3 games. I haven't really been playing much else. And maybe a little bit of Madden here and there. But that's pretty much it. So, this is a long podcast. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys made it all the way to the end, comment down below. Leave a like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like I said, you can always tweet me on Twitter at CCN Gaming and Music. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We'll see you guys next time right here on the CCN GameCast.